You ever been on a date and wondered, is this person the one? Is this going to be my future husband and or wife? Is this the person that's going to break my bad, terrible streak of relationships? Now, have you also wondered, who are they really? You ever thought to look in someone's background to really figure out who they are as a person? Or maybe just see what they've been up to before you guys got together? I'm gonna tell you what, if you live in Tennessee, you might have a better chance of doing that. What's going on YouTube? It's your host, Rich GNT, and we're here to talk about a new law that's been passed in Tennessee that's going to make it easier for people to figure out if the person that you're seeing, sleeping next to, or want to be in a relationship with has a background of putting hands on people. All right, so let's not waste any time. Let's jump right in.
Lawmakers are adding new protections for victims of domestic violence in Tennessee. Savannah's law takes effect January 1st. It's named after Savannah Puckett. She was a deputy in Middle Tennessee killed by her ex-boyfriend.
That man had a history of arrest for domestic assault before the killing in 2022. The law requires and creates a public registry of domestic violence offenders.
Tennesse reporter Ellis Rold spoke to supporters of the new law about what it changes.
A new law goes into effect January 1st, aimed at helping victims you may never know are hurting.
This is a huge systemic issue that affects all of our communities and is often much closer to home than what we anticipate.
Savannah's law creates a domestic violence offender registry for people that have been convicted more than once. State Senator Becky Massey co-sponsored the bill.
This bill has the potential of saving some lives, and that's, to me, is the most important thing I can do is in the legislature. For every life I can save, that's amazing.
Anderson County victim advocate Jesse Baer says the bill is a step in the right direction.
My initial reaction is, gratitude and excitement because this is real progression for our state.
But it has gaps Baer hopes are addressed.
So I kind of got into this like a little while ago. I'm doing the video now, but I was hearing about this maybe 2 weeks before, right? I'm all for it. And the reason I'm all for it is because I am friends with a lot of people, mostly women, right? And they tell me the horror stories, right? Some of which, I gotta keep it a buck, some of which is their fault because I tell them to their face, they do stupid shit. And they involve themselves with people they had no business being involved in. With that being said, the people that they end up dealing with and what they find out about them, in some cases, horrendous, all right? Like, legitimately, I think this is great because it's going to help a lot of people, not just women, a lot of people weed out the people they have no business dealing with, because this can also help men as well. I too, I'm not dated, but I have had situations where I looked people up and I was like, arrested, gun charges, child endangerment. Trust me, I've seen it. So this is really good. I personally think that people should be looking into people that they want to like be serious with, like look at their background, look them up, do all that, because it's important, because you want to lay down with this person. So I'm all for this. I'm all behind it because it's just crazy out there. I'll give a little story after that, so like why I got latched onto this, but yeah, let's keep going.
Doesn't really accurately reflect all of the abusers in Tennessee.
The registry will include people who have been criminally convicted, but Baer says many abusers don't face criminal charges and that victims may choose to get orders of protection instead in civil court. Senator Massey says it's hard to put someone on a registry who hasn't been convicted of a crime.
There's nothing you can do that can solve everything, but if we can do something that solves some of it, that's important.
Baer says helping one victim at a time gives her purpose.
Mothers send me pictures of their babies that say things like, this was my first birth that I had where I didn't go home, and be immediately abused by my husband. That is what makes this worth it.
In Knoxville, I'm Ellis Rold.
What they're saying is true, because you're never going to have something that's perfectly crafted that's going to solve all the issues, because I personally know of women who did not go forward with criminal charges and they just got protective orders, and then depending on how their state worked and everything like that, the whole thing is a mess in my personal opinion. It's funny, they have these people that come out here talking about they want to protect women, but I never see those people jumping up, talking about these things, standing up for these things, marching for any of this shit. You always see, it's always small, minute groups, and that's the sad part. But yeah, no, I'm all for this. Hopefully other states adopt this, and hopefully other men and women have the bravery to step forward and say, hey, look, this person did X, Y, and Z, and then pursue it criminally. Because personally, you shouldn't be putting your hands on nobody. Truthfully, you shouldn't. And if you want to take it to the point of you're abusing someone, nah, you're scum. You're scum, and you should be put on a list. We should have lists for like a lot of different things when it comes to like, you know, weeding out people that you should have no dealings with, whether it's romantic or platonic, because it's insane out there. But the reason I had latched onto this story was, you know, I went traveling, I think last month by this time, and I was talking to one of my homegirls, and she was telling me how her friend, you know, was dealing with this guy. And I remember she told me about this, and when she told me how the guy was moving, how he's moving too fast and everything like that, and he was like, do the whole love bombing thing. And I told her, I was like, hey, yo, tell your girl she shouldn't be dealing with that type of dude. I'm sorry, alarm bell's going off, she shouldn't be dealing with that. She ain't listen. And I was talking to her. I was like, oh, what happened with so-and-so? And she was like, oh, well, they broke up. I was like, what happened? She was like, they had an argument or something like that, and he threw a phone at her face, like hit her in the eye. And I was like, what the f-? I was like, what? And she was like, yeah. And she said when she did, I think it was her mother or whatever, did like a background check on him. He had like a few like domestic violence type cases along with child endangerment. And I was like, what the fuck? So you for real? She was like, yeah. And she said that I guess after the whole altercation and everything like that, he threw her clothes out on the front porch. They live in a cold state, right? And apparently, this is based off of what she's saying, because I'm just taking what she said as gospel, right? She said that it seemed like he wet her clothes because when she went to go back and get them, right, it was frozen to the ground. So she had to try like dig and pry them off the porch. And then not only that, she said there's a camera that he kept inside his home, right? But he put the camera outside just so he could watch her do that. Dastardly shit. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, if she had listened to me, oh, it would be, no. I say that to say that there are cases where I think a lot of people, not just women, will benefit from this, because how good would it be for you to see, hey, look, this person's a piece of shit and they're kind of crazy from jump. When I say I have a lot of stories, it's actually kind of scary. I have plenty of stories of the women I know being like, hey, look, I looked into this and he has this, and this. I'm like, what? Nah, dip, you gotta leave. You gotta leave. So that's why I latched onto this, because I hear so many different things. It's just insane. It's insane out there, you know. And I've heard from men too. Like I said, I had my instance where gun charges. Yeah, no. Had a homeboy dealing with a chick. She had a domestic violence thing. Actually, she was dating women at first. I ain't gonna get into all that. That's a whole nother story. But yeah, this is something that other states should adopt and find ways to kind of make it as cohesive as possible, to where obviously there's going to be gaps and nothing's going to be perfect, but make it so you can try to protect as many people as you can. And yes, it is true, protecting one person at a time is just as good, but we want to make sure that people out there are not going through anything horrific. Well, you guys already know the drill. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, comment down below, tell me your thoughts. How do you feel about this law? Do you think this is something that's going to work? Do you think it's something that, I don't know, it's not going to make much of a change, much of a difference? If not, tell me how it can either be improved or what you would put in place instead, because like I said, I'm all for this. This is going to be good for people. But that's it for now. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.